First up this week is AI Week here at the BBC, where we're exploring how this rapidly evolving technology is reshaping the world around us. Today, we're taking a closer look at some of the risks that come with it, including the dangers of becoming too reliant on AI in our daily lives. Joining me now to help unpack what that could mean for all of us is futurologist and social commentator Mal Fletcher. Mal, good morning to you. What can over-reliance on AI do to us as humans?
Good morning, Aaron. Nice to speak with you. Well, one thing it can do is it can set us up for what we call an empathy deficit, especially if we're using AI in forms called artificial emotional intelligence. People are turning to it now for companionship, friendship, even in some cases, romantic relationships. But we know that generative AI models work by predicting sequences of words based on probabilities and feeding those back to us in human-sounding ways. But they don't actually experience anything. And even if they did, it wouldn't be shared human experience, which is the foundation of all empathy. So AI can mimic empathy, but it can't show the real thing. And we very often need the real thing. And also AI finds it very hard to deal with ethics when there are two possible courses of action and neither is totally right or totally wrong. In other words, when there's some nuance in it, AI has trouble deciding the right course of action, which makes it, I think, somewhat of an unreliable therapist or friend. So we need to be taking care when it comes to using AI in those ways.
This thing scares me, Mal. It really does. People are starting to use it as a therapist. I've seen some absolute horror stories online as well. What can you tell us? What are the dangers of it?
Yeah, well, one of them is that AI therapy systems, and I use that in quotation marks, can very quickly sink into a form of sycophancy where the machine tells us what we want to hear and only what we want to hear, or what it thinks we want to hear. So generative AI is trained to provide you with an answer, and in so doing to get you coming back for more. When it can't find a reasonable answer, it will often just make things up, or as the techies like to put it, hallucinate. And if you're facing a really life-controlling problem, you're not likely to want a counselor or a friend that's prone to lying just to keep you coming back. And there's a problem of bias too. We know AI systems inherit the biases of the data on which they're trained and the online material they use to train. So they've been shown to have racial and gender biases in certain studies, and that can mean that we're getting different advice depending on what race we belong to. So again, not very reliable as a therapist.
Is there a healthy amount of AI usage or a list that maybe should or shouldn't be used for?
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of things. There are great advances in education, healthcare, in the environmental sciences. AI is helping us with predictive models. Lots of ways it can help us. But one of the dangers that I think is most important is what we call hyperdigitization, which is where big tech companies or AI developers are trying to bring almost every human experience under the digital umbrella to give us a digital component for everything we do. And that's good for AI developers because it generates data and that's their bread and butter. It also suits government today because it allows greater levels of what we call granular soft surveillance. So, just reading data can give it information about us, not necessarily as individuals, but as groups. And when that starts to happen, our trust in government and in authorities generally will break down even further than it is already. So we can use AI, don't be paranoid about it, get the most out of it, but know its limitations.
Really good speaking to you this morning, Mal. Thank you so much for the insight, Mal Fletcher, futurologist and social commentator.